Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, Anton has been a little bit busy this week, going to the moon. Yep, that's right. I've been meme stonking it up, which means I'm also very tired, because you do that stuff and you just can't stop paying attention to it, which is why this will be the only week I will ever be doing that. It's fun though. I'm so tired though. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning so I could be awake for market open. That was dumb. But anyway, you didn't come here to hear me ramble about that, despite the fact that I'm super sleep deprived. We've got some cool stuff to look at. It's just a short devlog this week. I wanted to show you folks the winners of the future Sosiggun contest have been made. That's right, they have been turned into their various Sosiguns, which has been handy because it has allowed me to tune and work on some other Sosiggun related features that I've been working on. So let's take a look at them. So the first one we've got, I believe this is our PDW category. We've got the Desert Vulture. You might be like, wait a minute, the material-wise, this doesn't look like a Sosiggun. I figured because these were special, both in sort of like future Sosiggun and as contest winners, that it'd be fun to have them have a little more quote-unquote player gunnish of a treatment. This one's got, I believe, like 14 shots of 50 Action Express. It's quite punchy. Whap. Empties pretty fast. I think I showed this off last devlog, but I've been playing around with tuning with the idea that when you drop a Sosiggun in scenes where spawn locking is allowed, back into your quick belt slot, it effectively auto reloads. There's now a sound for that. So that's now reloaded. So that means when you're playing around modes in the game that allow for spawn locking and you come across a cool Sosiggun, you can now pop it into your quick belt, pull it back out. This still works with being harnessed. And if I interrupt it, if I drop it in and pick it up real fast, it will abort that sound and it will abort the reload. You'll see that this doesn't have ammo in it. I need to let it complete. Obviously, this is a really arcadey feature. Some of you might be like, I don't understand. Each of these guns are about realism. And part of the whole reason behind my exploration of this is both in preparation for Game Planner. I know a lot of people are going to come up with fun and goofy scenarios where they would like to basically just use a unified cross-section of weaponry for both the player and the bots. But also, it's really just in the spirit of the fact that, like, H3 has always been this sort of layer of VR gun game genre experiments, seeing what happens along, it's not like there's realistic guns and not realistic guns in games. It's a gradient in all sorts of different ways, and I always like to see how something feels when it is tuned and changed. So let's take a look at the next one. The next one is our Bullpuff, which got, I think, a absolutely wonderful sort of treatment and imagination here. This was the actual contest submission was a vault assembly, which means it sort of has that sort of like collage-y look to it, whereas this was given sort of a solid polymer frame and our Bren style offset irons, which I am just in love with. You just got to make sure to aim just a little left to center.
Union rep.
Yeah, you do that, buddy. Good stuff. Good stuff. Bullpuff. That's such a fun one. I love it. I love it. Look how pretty that is. Great stuff. On to the next. We have maybe the most meme-tacular one. The Natagal, our futuristic main combat rifle that fires 8x50 millimeter Lebel, which arguably is a punchy cartridge.
Was that really necessary?
It was. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think just being the derp of a bullpup just fits a Sosiggun, I think. Gorgeous looking stuff. Hit once at least, Anton. Jeez. There we go. We at least got one. Man, I need sleep. Next one, getting more exotic. We have our first Sosiggun with a real sci-fi. Oh, they are just glitched into each other. We're gonna have to fix this with our pocket toaster. Oh goodness! It didn't. There we go. Just basically firing ourselves. Got this cool. Check out the cycling action on this. So it's quite powerful, super penetrative. In fact, this makes this the most penetrative Sosiggun pistol. Can even go through a backpack, I think. Oh, maybe not. Oh, well, it's not super accurate. That is the one thing that sort of compensates for its power. But as you can see, even level 3 armor can't stop it. But
don't mind me.
You only get 8 shots. Wonderful.
Is that really necessary?
And super fun. I just love this. This one, if you don't remember, the contest entry was actually made out of Legos. And similarly, just a beautiful treatment by Ben. Sort of imagining this as an actual gun. Whap.
Finally, a day off.
I know. Fun stuff. Pocket toaster. And then the last one, which has clearly, by miles, earned the honor of most ridiculous Sosiggun. And honestly, it's now up there. It might be in the top 10 now for absurd guns in the game at all. And that is Metal Storm. That's right, a Metal Storm system style carbine. This big meaty sight. We've got this array of 3x5 barrels on it. The way this fires, super fast, quote-unquote cyclic rate, and it fires, each shot fires a row of barrels. So it actually goes boom, 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 like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very fast. So fast, it's almost impossible to just get one shot off. So let's just go full tilt to begin with. Gosh, it's so hard to control. Let's let that reload. I wasn't empty yet, but I might have to nerf it a little bit. The sheer volume of projectiles this spawns into the world is significant. Let's just tap with it now. I actually measured for exactly how many rounds would fit in these barrels. In real life, if there was a Metal Storm carbine, it'd probably kick back to here firing, and it would have to be reloaded at the factory. Way too much fun. Reload that. Let's spawn ourselves in. A few more Sosigs. Let's just one-hand this. Deletos! Oh, the game does not like this very much. Reload.
It's all gotten so dark now in 2018.
It really did. So there you go. This is, I think because of the fact that it's firing 3 projectiles at a time, this is actually exceeding the fire rate of the minigun in terms of total rounds per minute. It's just their weaker rounds, lower mass, and obviously it's a good deal harder to hit in a sustained way anything at distance, because even holding the 4, I'm just gonna hold this still. This is gonna climb as you fire it, so you sort of have to linearly fight it as you sustain a shot with your forward hand, which is not easy. Oh, I love that sound. Oh, I will never tire of doing this goofy stuff. Paste. Ah, wonderful. So there you have it. There are our 5 contest entry Sosiguns. I'm still figuring out exactly how I'm going to make these spawn, and these are definitely going to find their way into some new Sosig types that are going to show up in Ricky Random. So to all of you Ricky Random players, prepare for nightmares. Don't worry, this one will be super rare, but still present.
Well, that was something.
I might actually have to tweak the Sosig code. This recoils so much, I haven't actually tested how well they handle it. Oh, wonderful. Anywho, I should stop playing with this now. Let's jump back out of VR and talk about what else is going on. Yo! Oh, out of VR now. Oh man, you're probably looking at me like, wow, he looks out of it. I'm so out of it. I can't even remember, especially during this pandemic, I can't even remember the last time I got up at 5:30. Like, I'm much more of a, like, going to bed closer to 5:30, waking up closer to noon sort of person. So I'm a little loopy at the moment. But yeah, so in terms of what's going on in H3, one of the reasons why you haven't yet seen other sorts of like new features and content so far this year, aside from the fact that I'm still sort of recovering from December, is that Ben, who has made all of the beautiful Sosiguns you have just seen and all the rest of the Sosiguns over the years, I only have him for a certain amount of time to produce new content, because he actually has to go back to med school like a nerd. And so I've been actually focusing most of my time during the week in proofing and implementing new content that he's producing, so I know it works, so that I still have the ability to have him change it if needed. And I only have him for a couple more weeks, so that's why in a sense, he's making bits and pieces of what will end up being like a good chunk of H3's sort of content pushes, like over the next like 10 months. And so I am doing all of that instead of just sort of like having him produce those assets while I just work on like bug fixing and things like that. I'm just focusing my effort over there for now, just to do all of that pre-production, so that once he goes back off to school and I don't get any more goofy Sosig outfits for a while, I can return to working on other things. But trust me, it's going to be a wonderful backlog of stuff to work through over the course of this next year. Bunch of different themes, bunch of new sets of Sosig weapons. It's going to be a blast. But yeah, and of course, I am still working my way through bugs. Basically, everything related to Meatmas this year and the streamlined controls and the way that all backed up. I basically wasn't doing much of any bug fixing for like the entire months of November and December. Those just sort of accrued in Chrome tabs and to-do lists. And so I'm now collating and sorting and working my way through them. They're not fun. Most of them are not exciting or interesting to even hear about, but there's stuff that I need to get done. So I'm just sort of poking away at the drudgery. So it's the sort of eat my broccoli part of this whole thing that I need to get through. Granted, I'm an adult, so I like broccoli now, but you get the metaphor. I'm barely cogent right now.
need a nap. Oh, so yeah. So hopefully next week I will have something else nifty to show you. And if not, my goal is to, especially with all of these bug fixes and a bunch of tweaks and changes to take and hold, I would like to get those into an alpha for next Friday, in part because there's actually a community take and hold tournament happening in February. I'll have some more info to share about that next Friday from the organizer of it. But I want to actually make sure that the tweaks to take and hold scoring and a few bug fixes are in there prior to people practicing for said tournaments. So expect an alpha out of me next week. We'll have these new Sosiguns in it, whole bunch of bug fixes, and a fun surprise or two. So, anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Don't stunk too much, and if you do, please stunk carefully. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.